Hello and welcome to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball betting stream on the Just Baseball Network. What's today? Tuesday, May 16th. I'm ready to give you some winners. I got 3 MLB best bets, 1 prize picks entry. We're going to go over the model. And of course, we have 31 picks today. Enormous stream. We have an enormous slate of baseball games, and we're here to deliver you our winners. And remember, every Tuesday and Friday moving forward, we are going to do a community prize picks entry. The last one, unfortunately, didn't hit. I'm in the same room as Colby Olson, who pitched James Paxton over 2.5 earned runs. It ended up landing on 2. He texted me as soon as Arenado hit the home run, so he jinxed it. Blame it on him, but at the same time, Matt Olson didn't do shit in that entry either, so it's also on me. Those were the 2 losing legs. I got to be better. We got to be better, and we're going to win the community entry today on Prize Picks. Remember, if you ever miss any of these picks, they are tracked on the best pick tracking app in the world. That's the Pickett Sports app. Use code PETER when you sync your sportsbook on Pickett so you can track your plays. And then, of course, follow us. As you can see, that's the leaderboard, and your boy is in first. The great thing about me being in first is not just because it makes me happy, it makes me smile, but this is a competition. At the end of the season, whoever has the most units will win World Series tickets or a $500 cash prize. And the reason I say that is, if I win, I'm not taking myself to the World Series. I'm giving out my 2 World Series tickets to one of the subscribers of this Twitch channel. If I finish second, a subscriber is getting a $500 cash prize. We've seen a lot of the subscribers come in already because people are kind of getting fired up a little bit. Cohen, can you flash that leaderboard for the people a little bit? Just let them know. You know, I'm up there. You know, not a lot of people like to chirp me, but, you know, numbers talk, right? People lie, numbers don't. Those are the numbers. So get your subs in. Greatly appreciated. We have a big slate ahead of us, so no more wasting time. Let's do a quick recap of yesterday. Holy crap, Dodgers gave me a freaking heart attack. I stayed up till 2 a.m. watching this back and forth nonsense. Dodgers were winning the entire time. I'm hearing on social like, oh, the Twins gave you that one. I'm like, did we watch the same game? Yeah, Phil Cuzzy, thanks a lot. Umpires sometimes help. They've been screwing us all year long. This time they help us. It's an up and down game. Dodgers were ahead that full game. They should have won the whole time. Took till 2 a.m., but a winner is a winner, and green is in the account. Let's do it again today. I have 3 MLB best bets, 1 prize picks entry. Let's roll. The first game of the day, we are going to go to Baltimore for the Los Angeles Angels against the Orioles at 6:35 p.m. Eastern. The pitching matchup is Chase Silseth versus Dean Kramer. And I like the full game over. I do. But the reason I like the full game over is due to these 2 starting pitchers. So who is Chase Silseth? He's got a 3.24 ERA. So when you just look at the baseline, you're like, oh, he's actually not too bad. He's thrown 8 innings this year. But even in a short sample, the balls are already bouncing his way, and I don't think it's going to continue. Strikeout rate, 14.3%. Walk rate, 14.3%. You don't want to have the same strikeout and walk rate, especially when it's below 15. He's got a 52% hard hit rate. That ain't good, which is actually higher than it was last year when his ERA was 6.59. This is just a 22-year-old pitcher. No disrespect to Chase Silseth at all. He's just really young, and I don't think he's ready yet. But it's not just because of Chase Silseth. It's also the fact that he's faced the Orioles before. He faced them last July, allowed 4 earned runs in 4 innings. Orioles have been explosive against righties. It's not their better split, but a 97 WRC plus is solid, and when you're facing a guy like Silseth, that's when the offense should come to play. But on the opposite side, we have Dean Kramer. Back-to-back excellent starts, right? Shut out the Braves, shut out the Rays. That ain't Dean Kramer. That's not the Dean Kramer I know. The Dean Kramer I know walks a ton of guys, doesn't strike anybody out, and allows a lot of hard contact. And that's why his xERA is 6.96, one of the worst in all of Major League Baseball. And his xERA was around this point back in 2021 when he has 7.55 ERA. He's not the pitcher we've seen in his past 2 starts. I think that reverts back to it. And the Angels offense is legit. They rank 10th in baseball in WRC plus against righties and 9th in OPS. They actually outrank the Atlanta Braves when it comes to right-handed pitching this season. Kramer's faced them, and the quality of contact has been horrible. 25 plate appearances, 455 xWOBA, 302 expected batting average, and a 643 expected slugging. It's a tiny sample, but it's definite cause for concern. Look at that Taylor Ward jack right there. Camden Yards is also seeing 5 to 10 mile an hour wind blowing out to left field, and Oriole Park is the 4th highest projected run scoring environment of the day, so the conditions won't help these two pitchers out. I took the Angels through the first 5 over 5 at -110. Right now, it's mostly available at 5.5. I would still take that. I just wouldn't put the 1.1 units. I would just limit it to 1 unit, right? Because my model has it at 6. I think it lands on 6, maybe even higher. But when we value bet, right? Because I'm not one of those people like, oh, I'd take it at any number. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. It does matter to me. I took it at 5 for a reason. There was value there. 5.5, the value starts to go down a little bit. Do I still see value because I'm at 6? Yes, just not worth laying that juice. So that's how I'd play it if you're looking at your sportsbook right now and you're like, Peter, it's 5.5. What do I do? Play it at 5.5 just for 1 unit, and it's not gambling advice anyway. Cincinnati Reds versus the Colorado Rockies. How about it, Producer Cohen? How about it? We're going to fade a rookie pitcher making his debut on the road. Cincinnati Reds travel to Coors Field at 8:40 p.m. Eastern. The pitching matchup is Brendan Williamson versus Chase Anderson. We're fading a rookie on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Brendan Williamson is going to make his major league debut for the Reds today, and they are putting him in a really tough spot. Coors Field, one of the toughest pitchers' parks ever to pitch in. You have to adjust to the altitude. The outfield is bigger. And if you start walking guys, those dink and dunk base hits with how big the outfield is, they're going to eat you alive. Now, Williamson has been considered one of the best arms in the Reds farm system, but he hasn't performed like a top 100 prospect this season. In 156 innings over his past 2 seasons between AA and AAA, 97 walks, 140 strikeouts. That's not good. That's the sign of a pitcher without elite stuff that is not commanding the baseball at the lower levels. That's not a good recipe for success. And in 34 innings this season in AAA, 6.62 ERA, 20 walks, 27 Ks. He's just not ready. And on the flip side, we have Chase Anderson. I don't really know what to tell you. He hasn't allowed a run this season, but he's only thrown 5 innings. I don't really know how he's going to perform. He's pitched in Coors Field before, so that's why I like him, because he at least knows how to pitch there. He's been there. He's done that. This is not a rookie making his debut. He's pitched really well in spots in Coors and has gotten absolutely destroyed. I don't know what to tell you. It's really hard because both these two offenses, when you look at WRC+, when you look at OPS, Rockies have the slight advantage because they lead them in OPS and hard hit rate. But in terms of WRC+, the Reds lead them because WRC+ is a park-adjusted stat. Rockies are always going to be, lower than other teams because it's much easier to hit. But then again, it's easier to hit a Great American Ballpark. Basically what this bet is, I have more faith in a big leaguer with experience at Coors over a rookie who hasn't shown any command in the minor leagues making his debut. Give me the Rockies early. So I got the Rockies through the first 5 on the money line at -130. Remember, let's say it's 4-4 after 5, 3-3, whatever, it's tied. We have a push scenario. So I'm a big fan of this Rockies first 5 money line system play. We always play it no matter what, but there's actual baseball sense backing it, which I love. We got another play, right? We're going through these plays rather quickly, so I got to take a quick sip of water because we have so many other plays to get to today, and we have the community entry. We have so much on tap for this stream today. Third play, Philadelphia Phillies versus San Francisco Giants at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. The pitching matchup is Zach Wheeler versus Alex Cobb. The model likes it. The model thinks it should be at 8. But really, for me, I'm taking a gamble on a line that I think these two pitchers don't deserve. And I like the 2 starters. But when you look at the teams, I don't see unders happening here. The total is just too damn low for how bad these 2 teams are on defense, coupled with suspect bullpens. And these 2 pitchers are very good. But let's get into it. Zach Wheeler is very good. 3.80 ERA, so he's gone through some issues. And 3.40 xERA is the highest he's posted since 2019. Still solid, But the Giants have been raking against righties. They rank 6th in Major League Baseball in WRC Plus and in OPS this season against righties. And Wheeler's faced the Giants before. It's been a while, but he allowed 5 hits and 4 earned in 5 2/3 in 2021. Don't put a ton of stock in that. Through 60 plate appearances, 283 opponent batting average, but the quality of contact has been very good. From a counting numbers perspective, they've done damage. From a quality of contact perspective, they have not. But the Phillies rank 18th in outs above average. So those ground balls that sometimes can get through, those produce more runs. It's just how runs start to trickle in. And Alex Cobb is 3rd in baseball in ERA at 1.70. What he's done so far this season is absolutely amazing. Give him all the credit in the world, but his xERA is at 3.63, higher than the 3.15 mark that he posted last season. But he's just been a wizard at keeping the ball on the ground. But he doesn't have an easy matchup today against the Phillies. They rank 8th in baseball in WRC Plus and 7th in OPS against right-handed pitchers. They've also seen him before. And kind of the opposite. Quality of contact against Cobb has been excellent. 327 xWOBA, 430 expected slugging. Now, I don't expect the over to hit because Wheeler or Cobb gives up a bunch of runs. That's why it's at 7.5, right? But we're looking at the 3rd worst and 9th worst bullpen by ERA. We have 2 of the best teams in baseball against right-handed pitching with below average defense. We have a ballpark calling for offense, ranked as the 3rd highest run-scoring environment of the day, with 5 to 10 mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out. Like I said, model has this closer to 8, 8.5, not the 7.5 that's being posted. I think this game is like a 3-2 game going into the 5th or 6th inning, and then we're just going to see more runs pile in, and it ends up being on 8, 8.5. It's not one of those bets where it's like, holy shit, I have it at 9, and this is a misprice. I just think this should be at 8 or 8.5. And if it was at 8 or 8.5, I might not take it. But I see value on 7.5. It's a slight gut pick for me because I'm just like, Alex Cobb and Zach Wheeler, with the way that this game will unfold, like, they don't deserve a 7.5 line. Could it lose? Absolutely. Do I think it hits? You bet your ass I do. I think this is a sneaky, sneaky over here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into our prize picks entry. Remember, use code JustBaseball when you download for a full instant deposit match. So these are the 2 squares. I played this in an entry by itself, but of course we're going to do a community entry, so I want you guys to remember these and remember to vote at the end. So the first leg is Anthony Santander over half a run. I was genuinely shocked to see how the lines are for Santander today. He has the 3rd highest odds of hitting a home run in this game. His total bases line juiced towards the over. And among the lefties in the Orioles lineup, when you consider Adley Rutschman, when you consider Cedric Mullins, Gunnar Henderson, Adam Frazier, they got a good amount of lefties in this lineup. But why does he have the best odds out of everybody? I think he's going to be at the forefront of the offensive attack. You rarely see Santander on the runs prop. I kind of think he just hits a nuke today. I kind of think he goes yaya. Producer Cohn, do you think he goes yaya?
A lot of yayas.
Lot of yayas. All right, let's continue. So I like Anthony Santander over half a run. But the second leg is going to be Byron Buxton under 6.5 fantasy score. So Buxton is an exceptional talent. But the problem is he hasn't hit a left-handed pitcher all year. There's a reason that when you go on the Prize Picks app, he has a half base prop. Half. So all he has to do is hit a single. But he just doesn't match up well against Clayton Kershaw. The only book with a 1.5 base prop for Buxton has a minus 195 towards the under. Buxton has a 459 OPS against lefties this season and an 876 OPS against right-handers. He's 0 for 3 with 3 Ks in his career against Kershaw. He only has 2 stolen bases and just hasn't been aggressive, so it's doubtful that he's even going to steal at all. 6.5 is too many points, especially for a guy who's not really going to steal any bags. You know, he could just get this all in one swoop and hits a home run and we lose. It's just not a good matchup, and especially when the total's at 7.5. I think we're going to see some good pitching today. Give me Byron Buxton under 6.5 fantasy score on Prize Picks. Producer Cohn, is it time to bring out the model? This is the Ballpark Pal model. Of course, you can follow along on ballparkpal.com. They simulate the game 1,000 times. and we have a W model because this thing has been great this season. Helps me out with my picks, and it's totally free, and hopefully it helps it out with yours. Let's get into the first game on the model. And as you can see here, look, what I want you to look at is, first of all, they think that the Angels might be a good look today. As you can tell, right? There's a little bit of value on that money line. They think the Angels really kicked the shit out of Dean Kramer, and I don't blame them. But what I want you to look at is the first 5 runs, right? 3.3 to 3.1. So that's getting close to 6.5 here. Now, when I always look at first 5 runs, I take a little bit off because we're getting rated. Is it the Booking with Trent, people? Welcome to the friggin' baseball show, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we're going over the model. Stay tuned. We have 31 MLB picks coming up. We got 11 different cappers giving their picks. Dodgers money line yesterday. Bang. I got 3 more today. We already went through them. But for everybody new and rating, welcome to it. Thank you for joining. I'm on the Phillies versus the Giants, over 7.5. I am on the Angels versus the Orioles, over 5 through the first 5 innings. And I'm on the Rockies through the first 5 on the money line at -130. Welcome to it. I'm just going over the model right now. And this is, again, if you could flash that model again for the people, Producer Cohen, this is what we're looking at for this game. And again, the 9.5 total thinks it's pretty spot on. But as you can see, where it really likes runs is early. I couldn't agree more. I like the first 5 over. That's one of my best bets of the day. Still playable at 5.5. Just lower your unit size. Let's get into the second game on the model. This game, another one that I like. Remember, the model never truly accounts for our systems, right? But what I still like to see is that they still have the Rockies, even though this is a system, winning 53.6% of the time. They still have a slight edge through 5. Big fan of the Rockies here. But what I really wanted to show you, look at that total. Everyone and their mother is taking this over, and for good reason. The over should hit in this game. I don't think Chase Anderson's going to pitch all that well, and I think Brandon Williamson is going to get destroyed. But look at that over. It thinks it should be at 9. Now, I don't know if it will. I wouldn't trust that. I am not on the under, but I think it's worthy of showing you that the model loves the under. All right, let's move on to our second game, or third game on the model. What are we looking at here? Pretty popular game, right? So basically what we do is the model, which you can follow along with on Ballpark Pal. This, we got a problem? Oh, no, we're good. The model, we show the games that a lot of other cappers are going to be on. So if they pitch something that you disagree with and the model disagrees with it, maybe fade it, maybe tail it, totally up to you. But as we can see in this game, again, model loves the Padres in this spot. Slightly overvalued, but still it doesn't see value in the Royals at all. But what I really wanted to bring to your attention is slight value on the over if you can get it at 8, right? Thinks it's at 8.5. The implied over would be at -120. So consider the over. I think it's a pretty solid play because I think Brady Singer could get lit up in this spot. And Seth Lugo is fine. Royals bullpen, not that great. Padres, bullpen, like they have Hader at the back. They have a couple good arms. But I think if you're going to bet this game, I think the best bet is that over. And the model is showing a little bit of value on it too. So that's what we're looking at for that one. Any more games on the model that we have to go over, Producer Cohen? That's it? Who's in queue?
Nobody yet. Mid-major should be first, though.
Mid-major should be first. I can answer any questions in the meantime while we're waiting for people to come on. What do you mean the model doesn't count the systems? Like, for example, K Glenn 1234. So we have multiple systems. So it's like the model is just going to judge Brendan Williamson as is, right? Takes all of his minor league data, plugs it in, simulates the game 1,000 times. But it doesn't plug in nerves of it being your first start. Doesn't plug in the adjustment that a pitcher needs to make, right? So it's like they can't account for human error, like human emotions. It's It's a rookie making his debut on the road. Should the Rockies get a little bump because of that? I think so. It's been proven through our systems over time. So that's kind of what I mean. It can't account for like the human element of it. When a team travels, right, and they don't get an off day in between, they can't quantify fatigue. They can't quantify sitting on a plane and flying across the country. Like, if you ever flown across the country, you might get a little bit constipated. You might. You might just sit there and be like, I don't feel good. My tummy hurts. Have you ever had your tummy hurt? I have. And I don't like it. I don't think these players do either. And sometimes they show up and they look like they're constipated. They look like that. I'm sure you've watched a game where you have an over and you're like, these guys are constipated. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I know I have. Peter betting on bowel movements. Exactly. We got to find every edge. When did you go to the bathroom? That's what makes me so intelligent, is I bet on bathroom. Now I'm just wasting time. Would you take the first 5 over in Baltimore 5.5? Yes, I would just limit the unit size a little bit, right? If you had to play an over K prop, what would it be? Price-based guru. The great part is, stay tuned. We're doing a community entry, right? We have 11 people coming on to give picks. So we're going to do a community 6-piece entry. At the end, we're going to vote on it, all right? We got mid-major on the phone?
I don't know where mid-majors. We're going to go with Ollie.
Oh, we're going to go with Ollie 1 unit. Let's start it off. We got Ollie 1 unit. How you doing, Ollie?
You're muted.
Oh, goats are muted.
My bad. I'm one of the few people in here that mute myself when I go into the waiting room. So sorry for being a
You're
good
a
waiting
team player.
room. Yeah, exactly. Not much of a leadoff hitter, but we'll try something new today. Only a couple of things for you. A lot of talk about this Angels game with the over. Seems to be a pretty popular play after 37 runs yesterday. I get both these pitchers aren't great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm buying in on a little Chase Hillseth stock here. Give me the Angels money line at plus 115. I know he was god awful last year, age 21. I mean, how many times have we seen a 21, 22-year-old come up in the big leagues, get absolutely destroyed, and then come back the next year and make dramatic improvements? It's not that uncommon as you would think. These guys will get a bad reputation of being awful because they had a bad 10 first career starts. I beg you to go look back at, Felix Hernandez, Justin Verlander, all these studs that you see, Clayton Kershaw. I'm not saying Chase Hillseth is going to be a Hall of Fame pitcher. Don't get me wrong, but
He might.
He's not a 6.5, 7 ERA. Like, he's going to be good. He's solid. I know earlier on the surgical stream you mentioned how the ERA to xERA doesn't quite match up. I think a half-run difference, all things considered, isn't really that dramatic. Ground ball pitcher. He actually has a negative launch angle degree on average this year, so he's really pitching well, to his strengths. Now, can he put together 5-6 good innings against one of the best lineups in baseball? We'll see. I'm going to take my chances that the Angels lineup stays hot and really gets to this Dean Kramer guy who, like you mentioned earlier, pitched really well against the Rays, pitched really well against the Braves. This is a guy that has a dramatic difference between his ERA and xERA, and that is where I think the regression strikes. Angels lineup, although it's not the most appealing lineup out there today, pretty top heavy. I think they can still get to him, get some base runners. Maybe the bottom of the lineup can force some walks and give me the Angels for the full game.
I lean the Angels with you. I think it's a pretty good play. Like, I think Hillseth is better than Kramer, but the reason I like the first 5 over is because I think the Angels bomb Kramer. But I know what you were saying. What I was saying is that, like, his xERA last year in a much larger sample was horrible.
Yes.
And, like, through 8 innings, his xERA is not that bad. But at the same time, he was just stretched out for the first time in his last start, and he gave up 6 runs.
Yeah, it wasn't great. We'll see how it goes against the Orioles today, who are known that they hit Ohtani fantastic yesterday, right?
Yep.
Ohtani didn't have his best stuff. However, they definitely prefer to hit left-handed pitching.
Mm-hmm.
We saw my boy Mitch Keller go in there and absolutely tear him apart.
Yes, he did.
Mitch Keller, a guy that was awful for two full seasons, I would argue, maybe even 3, and now look at him. he turned into a very solid season. He was off to a great start this year. So I'll take my chances there. And then speaking of bad xERAs, Kyle Mueller has a really bad xERA.
Yes, he does.
You would think that his 7.3 ERA is bad. Well, his xERA is 7.8. It's even worse. Somehow, some way, it is. So who am I going to take targeting in a little prize picks entry, a little half unit job? Give me Christian Walker over 7.5 fantasy score. He's the best hitter against lefties on that Diamondbacks team. 180 WRC plus, 300 average, couple of bombs. No brainer there, even though it's a pitcher friendly ballpark. There will be runs in that game. I think most of them come from the Diamondback side because don't let Tommy Henry get hot. I know he was awful last year again, but he's come back and he's been respectable. As someone who wanted to fade him religiously coming into the season, hasn't worked out so well this year. He's been all right. And to pair that with we're fading that rookie in Cincinnati, like you said, give me Randall Grichuk over a half run for the two-teamer. Christian Walker over 7.5 fantasy score paired with Randall Grichuk over a half run.
So on Prize Picks, we're going to do a community entry with everyone voting.
Yep.
And I'm asking everybody, because obviously this is your Prize Picks entry for the contest, but if you had to choose between this two-piece.
Yeah, it's Christian Walker.
Christian Walker is your guy.
Yeah,
over sure. 7.5 fantasy?
Yeah, yep. And I believe last time I came on and didn't really have one prepared and was like, you know what? It's Verdugo, and I think he cashed in the first inning and was left off the entry. But it is what it is. I'm not one to hold grudges. I'm no petty. I've never been petty in my life, especially not when I get one pick right after when I'm like 13th place in this contest or whatever it is. But
can you flash Libra? I don't think you're 13th.
I'm creeping up to 500 or to even money, I think.
You're in 8th place. You're down 0.84 units. You're
Don't
totally
let me get
fine.
hot. You know, not to be that guy, but lost 2 units on a prize picks that reversed. That was an accidental button push, but I'm a man of my word. If I put 2 units on it, I'm going to come up here and say, hey, got 2 units on it.
Got 2 units on it. Man of your word, man of integrity, man of honesty, and the Mitch Keller truther.
Don't forget it.
I'm
President
not forgetting
of the fan club.
I'm not forgetting shit. And I'm not forgetting these plays either. Very solid. Appreciate you, my friend.
All right. Good luck today.
You too, my friend. We'll talk to you. Oh, we got mid-major in the queue. Our 3rd place in the competition. And, dude, I mean, you're not even close to me right now. Like, it's embarrassing for you at this point. What'd you make?
Well, let me tell you,
change?
this is a great lesson, Peter. So if you actually look at our records, I think you only have like 1 or 2 more wins than me. And for people who are newer to betting or people who mismanage their money or however you say it, I use more often than Peter does in 2-unit plays, 3-unit plays. But consistently, if I went 1-unit plays, I'd be higher in the standings. I'd be closer to you. So for people that bet like Peter, people who are more responsible, and it just long term, that's the better way to go, honestly. So if you're newer, anyways.
No, yeah, definitely. Like if you put in more excuses, you would be better than me for sure. Like if a couple of bets went your way, like you'd be above me. That's facts. I agree with you. Like if you won more bets, you'd be ahead.
So let's get to the shit.
All right, let's get to the shit. All right, go to your first play.
Producer Cohen, what's the first play you have on the board?
Baltimore.
We got Baltimore. Let's go to Baltimore.
It's soaring over 9.5. I mean, Silseth, he's not going to go more than 5 innings. After he gets through, we've seen once he gets to maybe 6 outs, he gets real rough. He has a nice fastball that rises. He doesn't have much else in his arsenal. That's why he got pitched. He went back to AAA. That's why he's back in the bullpen. After Silseth, it looks really tough in our bullpen. You have the greatest arm of all time, Tucker Davidson. Outside of him, you have Estevez won't be available. It's going to be real rough. It's going to have Berea. You're going to have Aaron Luke. It's pretty bad. And Dean Kramer, as we all know, is not a good pitcher. He has terrible expected stats, and it's going to show up today. Even though our lineup looks like ball sacks, we're gonna get at least 5-5. It's going over 10.
I'm curious. I'm on the first 5, and you're normally a first 5 guy. Like, was there any reason you took the full game over first 5?
Yes. Yes, I am afraid of the Orioles bullpen, obviously, because they have good arms, but our bullpen is just not good. I don't expect to see Carlos Estevez today. I don't expect to see Matt Moore either, who pitched last night. Without those 2 guys, it's real rough, man. So it's taken the Orioles full game for at least 8 innings against our pitching staff, and our bats get at least 5 innings against Dean Kramer. So I think the combination of that two leads me to over 9.5 full game.
I think both of us hit our bets. I really like this one.
I agree.
My reason I was like, why do I like the over so much? I like it because of the starting pitchers. That's why I always say with people, just for how you bet baseball, if you like a total, why do you like the total? Do you like for example, I'm on Phillies Giants over 7.5. I'm not on the first 5 because it's not like, oh, I think Wheeler and Cobb get crushed. I think it'll be because of the bullpens later on in the game and other factors involved. With the Orioles and Angels, I'm like, I like the Orioles pen a lot. They have Bautista. They have Yennier Cano available. And I thought the Angels would have Estevez available. I thought, maybe I'm wrong.
So they probably should have him available. My thought process is I don't think we're going to be able to use him. I don't think we'll be in a situation to utilize him. That's my point.
Okay.
And more pitched 2 the last 3 days, if not 3 the past 3 days. So those are the 2 best arms we have. And Estevez, I don't know if you watched on Sunday. He came in a non-closing situation. He got rocked. So I'm thinking he just may take a second to kind of reset his mindset, because that kind of stuff for a closer can really fuck you up.
Yeah.
He allowed another 3-run bomb to Josh Naylor. So I think it might take some time for him to get back into a situation where he gets comfortable.
I can see that. Let's get to your next play because you got more.
I do. Producer going. What's next?
Dodgers.
Dude, I think they kicked the shit out of the Twins today. Honestly, the Twins. It's not really. They're terrible against lefties. All that stuff. Baseball stats. I mean, hearts out to Clayton Kershaw. His mother passed away the day before Mother's Day, obviously. I'm sure most people are aware of that by now. He stayed with the team. He made a statement saying he's not leaving until after his start. His scheduled start on Tuesday. I think he absolutely deals a gem tonight. His props are telling me the same thing. And after the Twins used every single one of their best bullpen arm last night, and they still lost, I think that Ober's gets beaten up today. I'm sure you've been waiting to kind of catch the falling knife, if you would, with Ober. He's not a sub-2 ERA pitcher. It's just not who he is. And with the total sitting at 8 in Dodger Stadium with a sub-2 ERA pitcher and a sub-3 ERA pitcher in Kershaw, I think Ober gets absolutely lit up today, and Kershaw deals an absolute gem.
I could see that. I think this is a smart play. I mean, I think I don't mind the under, even though line movement is against me. Because I think, to your point, I think Kershaw shoves. This is going to be a good game. Like, this series is fascinating to me. I think the way these two teams play baseball against each other, like last night's game was so much fun. I think we're in for another great game.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you hit your bet. I mean,
agree.
I kind of don't, because I kind of like seeing you lose. But for the people taking your bets, I want them to win. How is it possible that the people taking your bets can win, but somehow you lose?
I mean, you could just not be a piece of shit person and just root for both to happen. So let's do that.
All right, I'll do that. Next play.
I'm just
Brewers.
kidding. He's a great person, everybody.
I'm just fucking with you. Brewers.
I know. Brewers told the team under 3.5. I'm hesitant a little bit about this one, being transparent. Javon really likes the Brewers lineup against Jordan Montgomery. I don't. Montgomery just got lit up in his past 2 starts, and all his props are juiced to the over. I don't know if that's telling I don't know if that's worrisome because the Cardinals just kicked the shit out of the Brewers yesterday, but the Brewers do not have a good lineup against lefties. They have shaken up a bit, and they have been performing better. But since April 20th, the Cardinals' bullpen is actually one of the top 10 in ERA, and in hits allowed, and in strikeouts, and in whip. I am backing Montgomery in that bullpen, who has seen no significant action in the past 2 days, to kind of hold his Brewers lineup to less than 4 runs.
Well, do you trust Javon or do you trust the line movement? Because you got minus 125 now.
Well, I trust the line movement. I mean, I think Javon is a very smart individual. He knows much more baseball than I do, so that's what makes me not put more on it. But I still like the play. I still trust my line reading there.
No, I think it's a pretty good play. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I kind of like
Never
this.
know.
I kind of like this under after that 18-1 game, because I think Miley actually pitches.
I think most people do.
I think Miley pitches okay today, and the Brewers they got to prove that they can hit a lefty. So it's like you're kind of just riding that trend, and it's like, take my money, prove to me, because you guys have been horrible this whole season, and it's not like, oh, this is some new thing. They were terrible last year. They were one of baseball's worst against lefties. I think it's a good play. I think it's a good
Yeah,
play.
and so add to your point, I think at least a lot of smarter people I know like the under as opposed to the over. But I like the under because I think the Cardinals pitching staff pitches better than the Brewers pitching staff.
Hmm.
I do think Miley doesn't get blown up, but he's due for that regression. So
Yeah.
I isolated why I think the under hits, and it's because I think the Cardinals pitching staff shows up. So I try to isolate it there and not hopefully some shit reliever for the Brewers or either side to come in and blow it up. So I try to isolate it.
Smart. Do you got anything else for us? Astros.
I do. So I actually cashed out of the Astros bet.
Oh.
It's seeming as the squarest play on the board for some. I don't know. It's just I'm getting a queasy feeling about it. I'm hearing a lot of people that do not know anything about baseball just nuking the Astros, and that's making me worrisome.
So we won't.
I
we
will
won't
say
count this
minus
one.
170 with Chris. Yeah.
Do you want us not to count
my
this one?
favorite play of the day.
Wait, sorry.
If you don't mind, I would prefer
Yeah.
not to because I did cash it out.
We won't count this one. So let's just move on.
My last one, I'll try to be quick, and then the prize picks is the Phillies first 5. I'm risking 3.6 units to win 3 units.
Tell Ben to mute himself.
Oh, Ben, would you mind muting yourself in queue if you can hear us? Sorry, go ahead, mid-major.
No, that's okay. It's the Phillies first 5. I mean, every single line in every single book is this. This is just odd. I will say, Peter, so one of my favorite things about this is not a commonly known perspective to take on it, but Alex Cobb is 35 years old. His last start, he came in on short rest and pitched over 100 pitches. He went phenomenal. He looked phenomenal against the Diamondbacks without Corbin Carroll. He's again back-to-back starts on short rest, 35 years old, of 4 days of rest after throwing 100 pitches. In my betting experience, this is a spot that you absolutely do not back someone of his age. I think a total at 7.5 in San Francisco with a guy like Alex Cobb who has a sub-2 ERA at home is pretty telling. And Peter, why isn't this total 6.5? Why isn't it at 7? Why is it barely juiced to the under at 7.5? I think that Cobb gets blown up. I really do.
I agree with you. I took the over.
Yeah, I like the over as well. I think Wheeler pitches good. I don't know if he pitches a gem, but I do not think Alex Cobb pitches well tonight. His props look oddly funny to me. He's after being phenomenal his last couple starts, or I think all year this year.
He's third in
at 2.5
ERA.
runs allowed.
Matt,
Exactly,
he is third in
exactly.
ERA
At
in
home.
all of baseball.
At home in perhaps the most pitcher-friendly ballpark. And all of a sudden we see the odds record a win. I'm sure you're aware of that by now on DraftKings. Or I'm sorry, on his odds to record a win on one of the books is at plus 105 as opposed to plus 230 for Alex Cobb when the line is minus 120 to the Phillies. The fuck is that, Peter?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
I mean, if they catch me slipping, they fucking caught me. But all that stuff combined with all his props being juiced to him not doing so great, plus him coming short rest on back-to-back starts, becoming 35 years old, I love the Phillies today.
Good shit, dude.
Love them.
Good shit.
And that's why I lean the over for sure. Why isn't it 6.5? Why isn't it 7? Why is it 7.5? Barely juiced to the under, Peter.
No,
Because
now
it looks too fucking easy.
No, now it's minus 115 towards the over.
Who's putting money on that over? People who fucking know baseball and people who are expecting Alex Cobb to not do so hot today. Such as yourself.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, prize picks.
Prize picks
Give
square.
us a square.
Kershaw over 43.5. This is one of those
Ooh.
plays. It's in the highest total on the board, Peter. People typically want to bet over. The lowest total, people want to typically bet under. He has the highest pitcher fantasy score. I don't know if he gets it with the K's, but he's gonna get a win. He's gonna get a quality start, and he's gonna go at least 7 innings. He's going over 43.5.
Hell
Against
yeah.
also, Peter, the Twins have scored 36 runs in the past 3 starts. They're at 3.5 juice to the under today. Pretty heavy. I know it's Kershaw, but come on, man. If everyone's liking that Twins lineup, why?
I took Buxton under fantasy score as one of my main ones today. Like I think Kershaw deals.
I love the correlation. You know baseball much better than I do. I'm much more handsome than you are. The correlation of our minds, it's fantastic.
All right, get the hell out of here. Appreciate you, my friend. No, but seriously.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for getting me in.
Talk to you soon, my guy.
Ben.
Mr. Ben Carey, was there someone, though, who had a question? I saw maybe in chat that you highlighted something.
Alejandro Kirk, why is he so booty?
Why is Alejandro Kirk so booty? We're freaking out a little bit. We are. We're freaking out a little bit. I think he's 3 for 27. He's too good of a pure hitter. He's too good of a pure hitter for this to continue. I know that's a simple answer, but it's just the way that baseball is. Guys go through ups and downs. I think Alejandro Kirk is going to be totally fine. When you have a walk rate that high and you don't strike out and you make consistent hard contact, sometimes the balls get caught. His timing doesn't look right now. He's going to be totally fine. Let's get to Mr. Ben Carey. Half of Capwise. How are you, my friend?
How we doing?
I'm doing well.
It's good to hear.
Prize Picks took Buxton Fantasy off the board? No way.
Damn.
I mean, that's sick for me.
Speaking of that, I do want to just give my square real quick because
Yeah.
I think they may take this off the board too.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's Bretton Doyle over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs.
Why would they?
He's batting in the
what?
7th hole.
Okay.
So Prize Picks kind of assumed he would be 9th. I know that's not too much of a difference, but that could be the difference between him having just one more at bat, which could make all the difference. So, dude is hot right now. Had 2 home runs last night going up against a
you think
rookie
they'll
pitcher.
You think they'll take this off the board though?
Yeah. So I've noticed. I've been playing a lot of these. When the lineups come out, Prize Picks will take a lot off the board if there's like a lineup change from what they were expecting from yesterday, if that makes sense. And it's minus 135 on the book, so it's moving in that direction.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So
Buxton
that's my square. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. See if it's still up.
Okay. Well, let's see. Doyle. Brenton Doyle. Okay. We got it written down. Let's get into your plays, my friend.
Yeah, so speaking of the Rockies, I'm going with the over 12. It's moved, of course, and I wanted to lock it in at 12, at a unit and a half, because Wilmington getting his first start, which is crazy that they're throwing him to the Wolves basically in Coors.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I was actually trying to do some research to see the last time a pitcher made his MLB debut and also in Coors, and I couldn't really find anything as far as like an opposing pitcher. So that's going to be interesting. He has a big walk issue, so we'll see what happens. But I would play this at 12.5 for a unit still. I think there's going to be a lot of runs in this one, so go with that over.
Any reason you didn't take your Rockies?
Because Brett Anderson's making his first start with the Rockies.
Chase
it's
Anderson?
just a weird. Oh yeah, sorry, Chase. Just a weird start for him, right? Kind of filling in for Urania getting sent down and then Sensatella being hurt. So I also don't know what to expect out of him. And also, I think he has a ERA north of 5 in Coors. I mean, I don't really expect him to have a great outing. So that's why I'm going with the over here.
No, that's fair. I was looking at him too. It's like he doesn't have that big of a sample size in Coors. He has like 1 shutout and like 2 bad starts. And I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? Like,
Right,
I think
yeah,
he
it's hard
pitches
to
well.
say.
Like,
Yeah.
It's hard to say. But what I do know is the reason I took Rockies 35 was like, what am I more confident in? Chase Anderson, who pitches there, signed with the Rockies, so at least he's becoming acclimated to altitude, or a guy who's never made his debut before and is now going to pitch in Coors Field. I was like, I like this answer.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. If I had to pick someone first 5, I would take the Rockies for sure.
Okay, let's continue. What else you got?
Yeah, so I got the Blue Jays minus a half run in the first 5 at minus 120. I'm back in Kevin Gossman. I think he gets back on track. I mean, he did have that good outing last outing, but then the outing before, I think he gave up 7 or 8. You know what's weird is with him, it seems like when he has a bad outing, it's pretty bad. So I'm fine with betting this with the spread, because I think it is an opportunity that if he is on, the Jays offensively may only have to score like 2 to 3, and this covers for me. So I got that for a unit.
And you got a little bit of line movement in your direction, up to minus 125.
Yeah, a little bit, which is nice. So
You like seeing that?
yeah, love it.
Other smart people like what you like. All right, let's continue. What else you got?
Yeah, and the last play is the Diamondbacks, the Athletics, and the over 9.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's Oakland. If we can get some bullpen innings out of them, which I'm expecting, I think this goes over. I was on the over last night, and it was a weird game because Merrill Kelly was on, but there were a lot of guys left on base. Even in the late inning, there were 2 guys left on, and there was like a really weird base running air by someone on the Athletics. So it definitely could have gone over. I know you've been on overs a lot with the Athletics, and yeah, I'm just kind of fading Henry. I think it's going to be a spot where Christian Walker probably has a few hits, and yeah, at 9 it just seems like a number I'm fine taking. So I like that over.
I've been a lot of on A's road overs. The road overs have been insane. The only problem with taking overs in Oakland is just the ballpark is so hard to hit at. Not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying for when you said I've been taking a lot of overs, I take a lot of road A's overs.
Gotcha.
Like especially in smaller ballparks. But like in a
Gotcha.
matchup like this where the A's are better against lefties, the Diamondbacks aren't that good against lefties, but it's Kyle Muller, 2 suspect bullpens. Like this game should trickle over. Like it's one of those games where I'm like, I don't think it hits. Like I don't think it's like a sweat-free bet. Like you're like, oh, Kyle Muller just gave up 60. Like I think it's like 3-3 going into 5, then 4-3, then 4-4, then 5-4. Then it just like trickles and then you win. That's how I think.
I'll take it.
My Phillies Giants over. I'm like, this ain't gonna hit early. Don't expect it to. It's gonna be one of those ones that hits in the 8th and 9th inning. That's why I like it for you.
Yeah, and I think the overs were 10 for 12 yesterday, which is interesting.
That is insane. Yeah, I was looking at the scoreboard. I'm like, every single game was electric.
Yeah. Last thing, going back to Brenton Doyle, buy stock in this kid, man. I think he's legit. Fastest player on the Rockies. He's already made 2 insane web gems out there. Had 2 home runs last night. I think he's here to stay. So it's a bright spot for the Rockies right now because we don't have a lot going on for us.
Love it, my man. Love that analysis.
Yeah.
We'll definitely keep an eye on him. Any prize pick squares that you want to put in the community entry for people to vote on?
Yeah, let's just put that Doyle square.
Oh,
that
yeah,
I
perfect.
mentioned.
I'm an idiot. I've already
No, you're
wrote it
fine.
down. Yeah.
No, you're good.
Appreciate you, my friend.
All right,
Thanks
man.
a lot. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Who else we got in queue, producer Cohen? Ooh, we got Colbert. Colby Olson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, focus up right now. Colby Olson is currently in last. Let's say it how it is. But positive day, 2-1 on stream, 4-1 day. And what started it, Colby? Who do you have to thank?
Spencer Strider and this beautiful mustache that I have going right now.
The beautiful mustache. These are mustache picks. This is how we change vibes. And you got a rockin' today. And you even got a shirt that kind of matches it. It's kind of giving a mustache vibe shirt.
Well, let me check. Does Dane Dunning have a mustache?
Maybe.
He does. He has a little like goatee little thing. He tries to pull up facial hair. It's nothing crazy. But regardless, we're gonna be backing Dane Dunning and the Texas Rangers through the first 5 today. I grabbed this at -110 earlier this morning. It's at -120 now, and I still love it at that price. Very comfortable putting at 1.2 units to win a unit on that as well. But yeah, let me run you through this play, Pete, because looking at this board, I did have a lot of leans that I liked, and a lot of my leans actually have already been brought up on stream. I did lean Angels, but this was the only game on this board that I was like fully sold on, and I'm trying to be picky because I have been losing, but I like really want to be picky, 1 unit at a time, right?
Long season.
You can't rush back. You just got to do it day by day. It's a long season. So you have Jared Schuster making his return to the bigs against Dane Dunning. Rangers versus Braves, right? 2 of the biggest offenses in baseball. I actually hit the over on this game last night, but I lean the Rangers in this game for a lot of reasons, actually. Let's start with Dane Dunning. Dane Dunning has actually been very, very solid so far this year. He owns a 1.72 ERA, a 3.48 expected ERA, and a 2.96 FIP. So there is some room for regression there. Regardless, those are all great numbers to see. He has not given up a home run yet. I would imagine that changes at some point. Does not mean that it changes today, though. He's getting a lot of ground balls. He's only made 2 starts on the year, but he's gone 5 innings and 6 innings against the Angels and Mariners back-to-back games. So Dane Dunning has performed well enough that I think he's going to perform well today. But you look at the Braves lineup and you think, wow, they must mash righties, right? No, they do not, Pete. They have a 156 WRC plus against lefties this year, but they have just a 98 WRC plus against righties. That's a huge difference. That's being 50% greater than league average against lefties. That's being below league average against righties this year. So they're facing Dunning through the first 5 most likely today. Then On the other side, you have the Rangers, who are going to be facing Jared Schuster, who's making his return to the bigs. He made 2 starts earlier this year, and he bombed in both of them against the Nationals and the Padres. He gave up four earned runs in each of those games through 4 innings, walked 5 and walked 4. And that's been the problem even since he's gone back to AAA, Pete. In 5 starts, he's averaging 5 walks per 9 innings in the minor leagues even. So even though he's not giving up home runs, he's just giving up a ton of base runners. And the Rangers, who have a 124 WRC plus against lefties this year, are going to eat him alive through 5 innings. So that's the really simple analysis here.
Didn't sound simple to me. Sounded pretty surgical.
I really like this play. And I only have 1 unit on it, but I'm almost like, if the line moved to minus 120, like maybe put another half unit on it or something. Like, I really do love this play.
Good shit, Colby. Yeah, right now, minus 110s across the board on the full game money line, minus 120 through 5. I like it, my man, because they probably think it's the Rangers bullpen against the Braves, so you could see a comeback. But early, the Rangers have the edge. I think it's a very solid play. What else do you like today?
This is the only play for me today. I did not want to stretch myself thin. Like, I really trust this play and this play only. I do have a prize pick square for you, though.
Let's hear it. Okay.
I am bringing Masataka Yoshida to go less than a half strikeout. He has a strikeout rate around 9-10% on the year right now. But why I really like this play specifically is that Yoshida is going to be facing Luis Castillo tonight. And if you break down Yoshida by pitches, he does not hit breaking balls well, but he does hit fastballs very well, and he does hit off-speed well. So Luis Castillo's two main pitches to lefties, that is, are sinker, four-seam, and changeup, right? He doesn't attack lefties too much with that slider. So I really do like Yoshida to go less than a strikeout here, especially when even if he's facing this bullpen later in the game, he's striking out at a 9-10% clip. So this is one of my favorite plays on the board today for prize picks.
Good shit, my guy. Great card. We're just building. Good shit. Limiting, because remember, Rome wasn't built in one day. You're down a little bit, really, doesn't matter.
If I can just do 1 unit a day, that's the dream, right?
Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
All right, we'll talk soon. Who else we got in queue, Producer Cone?
We have Jake up now.
We have Jake Hazen, number 2 on the leaderboard, an absolute stud in his own right, consistently giving us winners. Cashed on his Rockies play yesterday. How was your overall day? I think you went up on stream.
2-1. We had Royals team total under, where they almost had a no-hitter.
Yes, they did.
Our loss was that Brewers game where Jack Flaherty went 7 shutout, allowing only 2 hits, and the game started over by, I think, 12 runs. So,
what are you going to do?
Those apples. And we had the Rockies.
You're up 9 units on stream, still killing it. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, I got a lot of plays today. We're running a lot. So, first play we're running with, we're going back to this Padres game, actually, except we're going to flip it. And we're taking a dog today. We're going to take the Royals in the first 5 at plus 170.
Wow.
And, yeah, I know. Singer is a guy who has been not so good this year, to say the very least. So one of the worst xERAs, a 58% hard hit rate. Like, it just goes on and on about how bad this guy is. But against lefties this season, which the Padres have, I think 6 of them in the lineup today, he's below average. I mean, he's still bad, but he's below average against lefties. He's got a 250 xBA on both his main pitches. So, he's bad against lefties, but he's not as bad, and the Padres offense is bad. This team just cannot hit. And we're going against Lugo here as a guy I want to be – he's a big fade target for me right now because I don't think this guy's built for coming out of the start, being a starting pitcher. And with Lugo, we brought it up last time. We faded him a bunch of lefties in the Twins lineup, and I think he actually pitched pretty decent against the Twins. He went 6 innings, 2 earned runs. I mean, nothing crazy, but this Royals offense, we always bring up, I talk about this offense every single time I'm on stream, I feel like. Going against pitchers that allow a lot of hard contact, that is when the Royals rake. And Seth Lugo is among that list, having a hard rate this year of 42%, being a 37th percentile. I expect this Royals lineup to be able to get after Lugo today, and I just need Singer to contain and just let the Padres offense cook. Who've only scored 3 of the 3 runs they scored yesterday, 2 of them are from pass balls. A team just cannot score. It's the most sad thing I've ever seen in baseball. You know, they had 16 base runners yesterday. 4 of them are hits,
Disaster.
and they
8
didn't have
walks from Keller.
they had 1 RBI and they had 2 runs from pass balls.
Jeez.
It's just ridiculous.
That's terrible.
So next play we're going to line up to is we're going to go ahead and back Michael Lorenzen in the Detroit Tigers of a full game money line at -122. So, okay, so I got to first get this off. Michael Lorenzen, this is a letdown spot, right? It should be. His last 2 games, you know how he's done his last 2 games?
Shoved.
7 innings each, both only on 1 earned run. But here's the thing. It's not just like, oh, Lorenzen's randomly pitching well against these teams. No, it makes sense because against the Mets, that team can throw up like literally 8 lefties. Like that's a very lefty-heavy team. And Michael Lorenzen is a very big reverse splits guy. He's actually been very elite against lefties this season. And throughout his entire career, he's been a big reverse splits guy, not just this year. And then he went against the Guardians as well, which is another left-handed heavy lineup. And he's going against the Pirates today, which is another left-handed heavy lineup. So I expect Lorenzen to go out today, and I don't know if I could say shove after he just went 7 innings back-to-back games, 1 earned run, but I do expect him to do good. And for this Ortiz guy going against for the Tiger,
Joey Ortiz.
yeah. So this guy, he had a pretty serviceable start his last game. He had 5 innings, 7 hits, and 5 runs with 2 earned runs. Okay, but the thing is about him. Sorry. He had an xERA of 9.36 that game. Not good. And the Tigers this season, in May, are, I believe, 18th in WRC plus against righties. And the Pittsburgh Pirates against the righties this May, they have a WRC plus of 47.
Not ideal.
No, not ideal. So I like the bullpen events well for the Tigers. So we got the better bullpen, we got the better starting pitcher matchup, better starting pitcher, and we have the better lineup and the better matchup. I mean, give me the Tigers -122 full game.
Love it, my man. Let's see what it's like. See if you got any line movement on your side here. -125. So it might have been just on your book. -122. Could be
That's
jumping
sharp.
around a little bit. But could just be sharp. Tigers might be sharp. Isn't this the first time this year that they're favorites?
Yeah, but I don't even care about that, honestly.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious. It's just like something cool. Tigers are favored. Tigers
They've
Nation.
been playing good ball, man. They've been playing good ball.
Playing good ball. All right, what else you got? You got 2 more?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and head over to Toronto, and we're going to fade the Yankees today. So Domingo Germán's a guy who just kind of makes me scratch my head. I mean, I've always kind of been, I was not as a pitcher. I was kind of a Domingo Germán guy last year. Like, he's everything you want out of a 4 or 5 pitcher, literally everything you want out of it. And he's been looking damn good this year. Outside of that, I think he had 3 blow-up starts. But everything out of that, he's been very, very serviceable. It actually almost been like kind of those games he looked pretty elite, honestly. But going against this Blue Jays lineup, after getting embarrassed yesterday, I expect him to get after Domingo Germán and kind of tear him up. And for the other side of Gausman, is that this Gausman, I think it's a spot we got to back Gausman against this Yankees team. Like I said, a lot of runs yesterday, and I think that Blue Jays are going to score more runs off Domingo than Gausman. Hold on, some stuff here. And the thing is too about the Yankees is they've been getting a lot more on they've been hitting the ball a lot better, but their hard hit rate is not as good as you think it is. They're 18th in May against righties, and that's the main issue with Kevin Gausman this year is letting hard contact, and that's actually something the Yankees have not been doing so far. So I like this matchup for him. I know he already pitched against the Yankees this year and shoved, but I expect him to do it again and Domingo get hit up.
Yeah, I mean, I hate Domingo Germán. As a Yankee fan, I hate him.
As a person or as a player?
Person. As a player, I think he's fine. I mean, he either sucks or he's amazing, and it's like, I just wish the Yankees hadn't stuck with him for so long. It's just he's so annoying. But yeah, I mean, I don't hope we lose. I hope we win every day, but I'm not his biggest fan.
You want the Domingo days to be losing or what?
What'd you say?
If you want to lose one day, you want the days of Domingo Germán?
No, I mean, I want Domingo Germán to get lit up, but I want us to win. I want him to just suck.
All right,
but
so
that's just me.
6-0 through 5, and then the Yankees come back.
Love it. Would absolutely love that. And I think that there's an off chance that actually does happen, but we'll see.
I don't know. With that Blue Jays bullpen, man, I don't know about
It's a pretty good bullpen. What else you got? You got another one, right?
Yeah, we're going with another dog today. We're going with the Marlins. Sorry, we're fading the Marlins. We're going with the Washington Nationals. So Josiah Gray, man, is he here?
Is he what?
Is Josiah Gray here?
I got to see more.
What if he just goes out and just shoves today against the godly Marlins lineup?
What if? Like, tell me why. Tell me why you like this. Because, like, are you just buying into Josiah Gray a little bit? Like, why do you like the Nats? I personally, I kind of disagree with this one. I liked your other ones. This one, I don't love.
All right, well, let me get into it. So Josiah Gray, I mean, this has just been a weirdo thing for him. He's a way better pitcher on the road, and his pitch mix is a lot different this year. He's throwing the curveball a lot more, which has been a pretty decent pitch for him. And the slider has been sharp as ever. Fastball's been kind of bad, but this Marlins lineup, so right now, they're a team that hits righties a lot better. Sorry, I apologize. They hit lefties a lot better than they hit righties. And for the Marlins, they are, in the month of May, 26th in WRC Plus against right-handed pitching. And most of us kind of know about, like, Josiah Gray. The main pitch I'm getting here, we're going to target Luzardo. I expect Josiah Gray to continue to be leading the road. I mean, gets this Marlins lineup. I don't really fear anybody in this. The only matchup I kind of feared was Jazz Chisholm and Horace Soler. And Jazz has got put in the IL for like a foot injury.
Turf toe,
yep. So I looked down the matchups. I just couldn't really find anybody that really matched up against him. But Jazz, I did fear quite a bit. But now he's on the lineup, I'm even more confident for him to show up today. But a lot of this is mostly about why I think Luzardo kind of gets hit up today. And so Luzardo has been awesome this year. But these Nats, man, 142 WRC plus against lefties in May so far. And they've been crushing. You can account a lot of that to Mr. David Peterson over there in New York. That guy is horrible. Like, he is such a bad pitcher. I don't know why he's
Producer Cohen, what do you think about David Peterson?
He's a high school baseball pitcher.
High school baseball pitcher, he calls him.
My eyes light up when he pitches. I get so excited. But going back to Luzardo. So his issue this year, he's been barreling, lit up a lot of barrels, and the Nats against lefties, they got a pretty decent sized barrel rate. They're the top 15, and he's just, I don't know what it is about it, man. Luzardo hasn't been quite as amazing as I thought he was beginning of the season. His xERA this season is only a 3.87 for the 3.38 actual ERA. And against this lineup in the Nationals, I like a lot of people in this lineup that kind of hit up Luzardo, especially Joey Meneses is a guy I like a lot too. I just expect the Nats at plus 140 is the number I got it after the first 5 money line. I just think with how well Josiah Gray's been pitching the road and how bad the Marlins have been against righties, and then also how good the Nats have been against lefties, and actually being able to hit the ball so hard and get creating a lot of barrels, I like this matchup today for the Nationals to take plus 140.
I could see to now plus 135. So I see what you're saying early. And, AJ Puck, the Marlins have been going through injuries right now. Jazz just went on the IL, but AJ Puck, who's arguably as important for this Marlins team because he's their closer and he's been easily their best reliever this season. I mean, they still have Brazaban and they still have, Floro, but I don't know. It's a tough game. I'm interested to see what happens. Do you have
their bullpen doesn't matter because I'm taking first 5 though.
No, exactly. No. I'm just talking about the full game in general. Like that's just what I was talking about. But do you have a prize pick square for us? Something you want to enter into the community?
Let's see here. We're gonna go with Salvador Perez over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs.
Okay.
Like I said, big curveball guy for Lugo.
Collab cam just went out. Oh, no. All right, give us a second, ladies and gentlemen. Salvador Perez over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI. So, unfortunately, what we've been dealing here on Twitch is that the collab cam on our technology just cuts out, so then we can never get people back on stream. So, unfortunately, we got to cut the stream for 30 seconds. We'll be back live in legit 10 seconds. We just have to restart it. Hopefully you guys stick around. We're still going to vote for the community prize picks. We still have 6 more people coming in to give picks. Plenty of more stuff. Hopefully you stick around because we'll be back in about 30 seconds. All right, Producer Cohen, you want to cut the stream and then we'll restart it again. Like I said, Give us 15 seconds. We're just going to end it.